The 2014 Pirate's Guide to the Internet, Wilson, James R. Why join the Navy if you can be a pirate? Steve Jobs. The 2014 Pirate's Guide to the Internet. I love movies. I love everything about them. I love the sound of a movie, especially the music, the engine revving, the explosions, all of it. I love TV, who doesn't? I wish that there was a service that I could subscribe to that would allow me to watch all the movies and TV I can handle for a fair price. Pay one company a flat fee and consume all of the media I want. Netflix is awesome, I pay for it every month. Hulu is okay, I occasionally pay for it too. I would gladly pay one of these giants triple or more to provide me a one-stop shop for entertainment. In a perfect entertainment world, I could watch a TV show the next day with no commercials. I could watch a movie anytime I want on any device I want. I could have all the movies, new and old, from any studio or network. I could have all the music, games, apps and programs I could ever need, all under one subscription and one fee. I really do wish that there was a service out there that could provide all that the internet can be. I would gladly hand over my hard-earned dollars to have an organized catalog of media to choose from. Until one of the corporate giants steps up and fills that need, I would like to show you the 2014 Pirate's Guide to the Internet. The service of my dreams does exist today and has been around longer than you think. I want to explain how easy it is to find files online. I've been telling my friends for years, and now I want to tell you how to get all of your music, movies, television shows, porn, PC games and even console games without ever leaving home. With a little know-how, you'll be on your way to having more media than you can handle. This information is like having keys to the kingdom. Imagine having all the music you ever wanted. Every game, every movie, every TV show is out there in the wild. You just need to know where to look. I can show you the way. I have always felt like I have been ahead of the curve when it comes to my media setup. I have not had cable or satellite TV service in over a decade. I haven't had to sit through endless hours watching commercials for feminine hygiene products and male enhancement supplements. I took my life and my time back from advertisers, and it's easier than you think. This guide will have you well on your way to cutting the cable and choosing what you want to do for entertainment. What you will learn, everything you need in order to start finding files today. Why I don't use torrents, and neither should you. Programs that will help you build your ultimate library. How to fix any common problems along the way. Advanced searching, indexing and automation. Follow with me and I'll show you how I've been getting all of my entertainment for the last 10 years. No more commercials, no more waiting in line at the video store, no more torrent trackers, no more letters from the internet providers, no more worrying about downloading from a public peer. This book will show you the way to find all the media you could ever want without shouting it out to the world. At the end of the book there are a few extra sections. A quick start guide that will have you downloading in the next 5 minutes. A list of software and services that I use or have used in the past. A glossary for common acronyms and terms. A question and answer section that real people have asked me time and again. If you've never downloaded anything before and have always wondered how it's done, we will start from the beginning. What type of information is available? Literally anything that can be converted to ones and zeros is available. People post their personal collections of media for the world to share. Pictures, movies, games, music videos, books, magazines, programs, operating systems, software and anything else that could be delivered to your computer. The latest movies are available the day they are in theaters in most cases. A TV show that airs tonight will be available, with no commercials, tonight. Blu-ray movies and console video games are available on release day or even sooner. I remember years ago that a huge console video game was to come out. It felt like everyone in the gaming scene was waiting for this title. This title was as big as it gets. A full 10 weeks before the retail release, this title was available online. It was so early that it wouldn't have even been on my radar for another month. This game was so big that the leak made the news. Thank you mainstream media for letting me know. I had already pre-ordered this game, and by the time it was out I had a huge advantage because of my 10 weeks of practice. This is another example of love for a game. I really enjoyed this game and bought it just to keep in my collection. Okay, I'm sold. Where are the files? The main tool in our toolbox is a Usenet subscription. What is Usenet, you ask? Well, it's the cookie jar you were always told to keep your hands out of. It's like having your own media store that is constantly stocked and is as close as your cell phone or laptop. I should explain that Usenet has been around since the 1970s and was used by scientists to communicate and share data. I should also mention that it is not the Internet. Usenet traffic, along with many other types of traffic, does travel over the Internet, but Usenet is separate from the Internet. Usenet services are not all the same, but they do give access to the same network. If you subscribe with Company A and I subscribe with Company B, we are both accessing the same Usenet network. This is similar to saying my internet service provider is Comcast and yours may be Time Warner. We can both still get to yahoo.com. If you want to know the history and the technical parts of Usenet, there will be more detail at the end of the book. The files are on a network called Usenet and they are organized into groups. Some people refer to these as binary groups. There are hundreds of groups and they are all named differently. Some are obvious, like alt.binaries.movies. There's no guesswork involved with that one. Some are named a little different. Alt.binaries.boneless, for instance, is a very large group that holds all types of files. The name of the group can be whatever the creator wants. For the most part you will find certain groups that you will frequent. Out of the hundreds of groups I usually only use about a dozen. Who puts the files online and why? Anyone can post a file on Usenet. Why would someone take the time to copy a movie or a game, then convert it to an acceptable file format, change the name to include their information, upload it to the web and then have no idea where it goes from there? What's in it for them? Years ago it was for recognition, and to a certain extent it is still today. The person who had the skill and the equipment to copy or rip, package and release a movie was highly respected in the community, or the scene, as it's called. Teams began to form and would compete for who could get the latest movie or game out in the wild first. Just as you would expect, the users are the ones who benefit by the competition. Later it wasn't good enough to just release, it was better to pre-release. The race was on. The guy at the distribution center became very important to the scene. The kid working retail had access to games almost a week early. A week jump on the other groups is a big jump. There are groups that are considered legendary elite groups that would crack a game before anyone else, or have pictures of the latest rock CD as proof of a pre-release. Their name and reputation was on the line, so when you saw this team's release you had an idea of the quality of the release. When I was younger I spent every penny I had on cassette tapes and eventually CDs. I became friends with the guy at the record store. I'm sure he liked my money and I liked his fine selection of heavy metal music. By the way kids, our record store was a brick-and-mortar store that sold music on physical media called compact discs. He would sell me CDs before the release date. A new CD would come out on Tuesday, and the Thursday before he had it in the mail room already. I was the coolest kid around because I had the new CD days before the release. I can see where the recognition would be appealing. Support the creator. Plain and simple. If you like it, buy it. Seriously, go buy that game, go buy that Blu-ray. If for nothing else but the packaging. I have paid to see more movies in the theater because of the experience. I like the smell of popcorn and getting a huge soda for only 20 cents extra. I have paid and still pay for the big-time video games. The packaging is cool, especially when they have special editions that come with collector stuff. I mentioned earlier that I used to spend every extra cent I could get my hands on buying music. I really do miss the cover art, the insert, reading up about the band or artist and the tactile feel of physical media. The music is great to have, but having retail packaging does provide a satisfaction that digital just can't give. I still buy movies that I already have in my digital collection just for the box. I think anyone who has a genuine love for a game, movie, music or anything else we find, would still rather purchase the retail version. I'll say it again, if you like it, buy it. What are torrents? Torrents are a last resort. I would rather wait for a Usenet upload to complete than download a torrent. Torrents allow peer-to-peer sharing of files. You download a torrent file and open it with a torrent client of which there are many to choose from. The client looks for the tracker to tell your computer who else has the files that you are looking for. Next, the client downloads the file from multiple computers that are also running torrent clients. Downloaders who do not share are called leeches. Leeches are punished with very slow speeds. This means if you tell your client to slow the upload speeds or not to upload at all, systemically your download speeds are slowed to a crawl. If you are uploading files to other people, then the speeds are surprisingly fast, but nowhere near the consistency of Usenet. Torrents may max out my connection every once in a while, but Usenet maxes out every time. Torrents are a double-edged sword. You have to participate, which means you are the one sending the file out to the world. There is no secure connection, so your husband and anyone else interested enough knows what you are downloading. You must use a separate client to download the files. You must find a site that hosts torrent files or magnet links. Magnet links are links that contain information on the torrent file that is hosted elsewhere. These fly-by-night sites are always in the news and constantly moving from domain to domain. The advantages are that they are totally free and the websites usually have a community to weed out bad files. In the end, you will find several reasons why Usenet is by far the superior service at any cost. Stop using torrents. There are several reasons not to use torrents. The main reason is that you are connected to other individuals and they are connected to you. Your IP address is available to any other person that you are connected to. There is no security. The way it works in general terms is that person A creates the file and notifies the tracker, person B then downloads the file from person A's computer. Now both A and B are seeding that file to person C and so on. Now, say person B just downloads it and then stops seeding for others, the next guy in line is going to download at a slower rate because there are less seeders. It really is the more the merrier with torrents. When a file is new, say last night's primetime TV show, the torrent will download very fast because there may be thousands of seeders. You may even max out your connection occasionally. Say you wanted last year's season finale, not as many people are seeding it from a year ago and it may be very slow, if it's available at all. An individual seeder could have several people connected to their computer at any given time. That is enough for me to stop using it. The last thing I'll mention is that all torrents have to be connected to a tracker. The name tracker should send you running anyway. The tracker keeps information on all BitTorrent clients that are using that particular torrent. It's how person B knows that person A has the file. Say you download a video and leave your computer on 24 hours a day like I do. That means all day long other people's computers are directly connected to yours using your resources and slowing you down. I don't even mess with them. Nothing is free. Nothing is free, huh? If the cost of a product or service is free, that means you are the product. The websites and services that we will cover do not exist without making money. When a site is free to use, they need you to click ads to make money. They need you to tell your friends about your experience to drive more traffic to the site and ultimately more impressions and click-throughs of the ads. You and your page views are the product that they are selling to the advertisers, and business is booming. The main service we use has no ads, keeps no log of what you're downloading, and does it over a secure connection. We pay for a premium service so that we don't have to deal with ads and pop-ups like you would see on any torrent site or indexer. There is a better way, a safer way, a faster way. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. Saying that you can get all of your media, movies, music, games and more for free is a bold and inaccurate statement. Some of these files will not cost any out-of-pocket money. Some services will have a subscription fee. When I'm going to pay a fee, it's going to be well worth it. None of the programs that we will be using are of the free trial or subscribe to this and get a free program type. I don't use those myself and I wouldn't suggest it to you. I'll show you when to pay and explain why you would want to pay in later sections. The secret is that if we spend a small amount of money, we will ultimately save hundreds or even thousands of dollars on media. We can use that money to go to movies in the theater and splurge on the big bag of popcorn. Another cost that is usually not mentioned is the cost of conscience. Deciding to use this knowledge will give you access to more media than you could ever use. Getting movies before they are available in stores feels great, but as with all things, there can be too much of a good thing. Having literally every game you ever wanted can ruin the game experience. I have more fun collecting games than I do playing games. It's the same with movies or TV shows. Having every movie ruins the movie experience. The act of going to the video store and seeing all the covers is something you don't know you'll miss until it's gone. I haven't watched regular television in years. I was streaming media before Netflix was a thing. Just like Netflix users today, I would watch an entire TV series back to back. Sounds great, right? I've found that part of the fun is seeing that final cliffhanger scene and then having to wait with the rest of the world to see next week's episode. Something that I never would have guessed is that I miss commercials. I really do. People ask, have you seen the one with this or that? My answer has been no for as long as I can remember. One of my favorite parts of going on a vacation is getting to watch commercials on the hotel TV. The last cost may be the greatest. Having access to all, and I do mean all, forms of entertainment at any time can lead to addiction. I have shown friends how to download only to find that they do not have the self-control to handle themselves. In plain English, I'm talking about porn. Everything, literally everything, every niche, every perversion, anything you can think of and way more is there, available for immediate viewing. If you have an addictive personality, then you should put this book away and go on with your life. You'll be no better for it. The information in there will open the door to a community of people from all walks of life, including the strange. You will see into worlds you didn't know existed. That's all I'll say about that. Programs and preparation. You have to pay to play. This is it, this is the secret. The entire book can be summed up in one word: Easy News. Easy News is the single best Usenet provider available today. I haven't gone a month without Easy News in at least 10 years. It costs money, yes, but so does a cheeseburger, and we all happily pay for those. The value that we get overshadows the cost at any price. You can sign up for any Usenet provider. They all have access to the same files. The reason I cover Easy News in this book is because they have several very important features like an HTTP interface, a global search function, search results filtering, spam filtering, virus filtering, auto-extraction of files and many more. Easy News use an HTTP interface, meaning that you can go to a website and bring up information. Many other Usenet providers only provide NNTP. That means that you have to have a newsreader to access the files. There are some advantages to NNTP that we can go over later, but for the everyday person we can skip it. We don't need anything extra with Easy News. In 2002 I learned about Usenet and Easy News. I was complaining to my friend Brian about the way people ripped music in a low bitrate so they could share it over Kazaa. He laughed at me and said, "Easy News. That's it." He didn't tell me what it was or how to use it, he just made me feel stupid for using peer-to-peer sharing. That was a light bulb moment for me. It really did change my life. I learned things that I would have never been able to learn because of the access I'd been given. You have to understand, this was a tight-knit group of folks that didn't talk about Usenet or newsgroups. The first rule of Usenet was, you don't talk about Usenet. I felt like I was a member of an elite club, and I was. Everything I could have imagined was available. It took me a while to get an understanding of what I was looking at and how to put it all together. Within a few days I was able to navigate and find anything I could imagine. In preparing for your newfound access we need a few programs that will make things easier along the way. Don't worry if you don't know how these programs work. This is by no means a definitive list of software you must use. These programs change for me all the time. I keep an updated list of software at www.smellabee.com. This is just a basic rundown of what I'm using in 2014. We need a browser to get to the site. I like Chrome. We need a way to manage our downloads. I use Free Download Manager. We need a way to check and repair our files if needed. Multipower does both. We need a way to extract the file. WinRAR will do just fine. Finally, we need a way to use the file. A media player like XBMC, Windows Media Player or iTunes are all great options. That's it, nothing to it. We search, download, repair, extract and enjoy. Most of the time we don't even have to go that far. I'll show you how to make it search and enjoy. Just dive in and play with Easy News. Practice will show you that it's even easier than using the mainstream products that are available today. When you decide to sign up for Easy News, please visit www.smellabee.com for access including a free trial. There are many choices for a Usenet provider, but you will never need to look any further. File extensions. RAR. PAR2. MKV. AVI. WMV. MP3. MP4. ABC 123 and on. There are so many different file extensions that anyone can get confused. Think of the file extension as telling your computer what program should open this type of file. Pictures are opened with a picture viewer and audio is opened with an audio player. There are only a few main ones that we are going to run into while searching on Usenet. Once you have run into them a few times you won't even have to think about it. There are lots of common file extensions that you probably already recognize. A picture is generally a JPG or JPEG. Everyone knows the MP3 is music. Music files can also have many other file extensions such as M4A, FLAC and others. Videos have quite a few extensions as well such as AVI, MKV, MP4 and many others. There are so many file extensions that we couldn't possibly go over them all. The idea here is not to know what every single extension does, but at least get familiar with looking for the file extension. You will get to know the important ones quickly by looking at the search results a few times. Here is a list of files that I see all the time and why I would look for this one over that one. Audio. MP3, M4A, WMV, FLAC, OGG and many more. Today, I almost always go for a FLAC file. FLAC files are a lossless audio file, meaning there is no compression like the MP3. The audio quality is noticeably different if you have a nice sound setup. You cannot hear the difference on the $5 headphones they sell at the gas station. Because there is no compression, the files are huge. Just as a reference, say a 5 MB MP3 may be as large as 25 MB FLAC. A reason to go for an MP3 or other file would be storage space. My cell phone doesn't have any expandable memory, and if I really want to load upon music I could go for the MP3. The quality is lower, but so is the file size. Video, AVI, MP4, MKV, MOV, RM and many more. With both video and music files we will determine our file type by considering the quality versus the file size. Today, I always look for the MKV files for video. Keep in mind that there are many other factors that go into the quality of a video. How is was ripped is exactly how we are going to receive it. File extensions are just containers, which means not all MKV files are the same quality. Generally speaking, today I choose MKV files because of the quality. Video files are enormous files. A full HD movie may be 25 GB or more. A reason to download a different file type would be to save all that space. Where do you want to watch this movie, your high-resolution computer screen or a little cell phone? On a cell I will grab a much smaller file, usually an MP4. The MP4 container is easily played by most devices. On my iPad I always go for an MP4. Pictures. JPG, JPEG, GIF, BNG, TIFF, and many more. Pictures are generally smaller files, so the file size isn't something I normally look for. Most of the images you will find will be JPG. There are millions of pictures on Usenet and many different file types. Any modern computer, cell phone, tablet or game system can read just about every picture type with no issue. I have never had an issue opening a picture. Documents. PDF, EPUB, MOBI, DOC, DOCS, and more. When we are looking for books, the main thing is to determine where you want to read the book. There are many programs that will allow you to read ebooks right on the computer. The EPUB file type is very common and can be used by many e-readers. The MOBI file type is for Kindle. The Kindle is the e-reader of choice for many. Calibre is a program that can take a book file and convert it to a different format. You have downloaded an EPUB and you want it on the Kindle. We can use Calibre to convert the EPUB to a MOBI and then transfer the book to the Kindle. You can also do the opposite. You have downloaded a MOBI file but you want to convert it to a EPUB. Same situation, Calibre will convert and send the book to the target device. Codecs, VLC, and XBMC. Years ago, I would have told you all about codecs and code packs, but it's not that difficult anymore. Codecs are used to let your media player, such as Windows Media Player, WMP, know how to play a specific type of video. WMP is a Microsoft product, so right out of the box it can play Windows Media video files. WMV, as well as Windows Media audio files. MA. It can also play lots of common file types such as the old-time favorites. MP3 and AVI. Those files are fine, but there are better quality audio and video files out there. If you really want to use WMP for playing media, you may need to get the right codecs. I recommend installing them manually versus getting a codec pack. Packs are usually fine but are often packaged with advertisements. If you can get past the ads though, there are several code packs that are just fine. See the software section at the end of the book. So you have skipped ahead and downloaded a video and you just want to play it. You don't want to mess with codecs and worry about file extensions, just play the video. No problem, download VLC from Videolan. It will play just about anything you throw at it. It is free, easy to install and it just works. When you find yourself with a friend's laptop and you just want to watch this video without any extra fuss, go for VLC. I want to talk about my media player of choice, XBMC. I love this program. You need this program. Go now and get it. The year was 2002. The Xbox was my console of choice. I saw Kevin Rose on TechVada mod chip to an original Xbox. The rest is history. I'm not kidding at all when I say that was a turning point in my life. I ordered the chip from Canada, installed it and finally got to see the magic that is XBMC. Back then, it was Xbox Media Center. Today there is no need for an Xbox to run XBMC, you can run it on anything, Linux, Windows, OS, Android and even iOS. It is the glue that holds my media together. It cannot be beat. Once you have the basics, XBMC will organize and catalog all of our newly discovered media. RARs and PARs. The files available for download are usually going to have a RAR file extension. A RAR file is a compressed file similar to a zip file. When people upload files to Usenet, they will take a large file, like a video, and break it into smaller pieces. They upload the smaller pieces using a Usenet posting program. The pieces of the file make up their RAR set. The RAR set can be extracted back to the original single file, our wallpapers in this example. By this time, we should be getting used to seeing all the different file types that are available to us on Usenet. If you subscribe to Easy News, which I personally use, you may never need the information in this section. Easy News automatically extracts files from a complete RAR set. This section will show you what to do when the RAR set is either not extracted by Easy News or there are pieces missing. A few examples of Easy News not extracting a RAR set for us would be, the file is incomplete. The file is password protected. The file has not yet been processed, it's too new. The file structure or extension is misnamed or unsupported. Most of the time, I'll let Easy News do the work on their side and I download the already extracted media file. No extra programs or hassles. Someday, you are going to run into an issue where the files you want are there, in part or in full, but the files still need to be extracted for use. The following is an example of a RAR set that is complete with no foreseeable problems. I'll show you from step 1 how I would get this file. The easiest way is again to let Easy News do the work for us. Let's select all of the files in this set. Just check the boxes. You can check the first file and the last file, then click the Ranges button to fill in the range between the two checkboxes. Once the boxes are checked, let's zip these checked files into really big chunks so that we don't have to download 100 pieces individually. Download your newly formed zip file, using SSL of course, with free download manager. By downloading 1 or 2 zipped files we will download faster than if we grabbed each file one by one. Make sure that all of our zipped files are in the same folder. Extract the RAR set from the zip file by right-clicking and selecting Extract here. You will see that all of the RAR files are extracted into your folder. Find the first file in the set. Usually, Part 01 or RAR 00. Sometimes you will see just 01. The file extension just depends on how the person who put the set together named it. WinRAR will be able to extract them all. The first time you choose a file that is not set to WinRAR by default, you may have to tell Windows to use WinRAR for that file type, for instance A00 or A01 file extension. Here we go, the moment you have been waiting for. You have found the first part of their RAR set. We are going to extract this file. WinRAR will recognize that it is the first file in a set and it will proceed to extract the entire set. There you go, your file is ready for use. Repairing and extracting. Now that you know what to do when a file is packaged and transferred correctly, the question is, what do you do when you get an error? Most problems will be easily fixed in a few clicks. The most common thing I see is that files are named incorrectly in the RAR set. Since the file names are not just so, WinRAR cannot extract the file. Here is where the PAR2 files come in. You normally don't have to download PAR2 files unless you have a problem. WinRAR says it cannot extract the file, but it looks like we have our entire set. I'll download one smaller PAR2 file and open it with Multipar. Multipar sees that their name it was expecting is different from the actual RAR name, and it will continue to repair, in this case rename, the entire set for us. Now we can proceed as normal, extracting and ultimately playing the file. Another common issue would be that you are missing files from the RAR set. Maybe they were not available at the time of downloading, or some corruption happened along the way. PAR2 to the rescue. Say we are missing only one RAR and it's 50 megs, we are going to need about 50 megs worth of PAR2 files to fix the set. More specifically, Multipar will tell us how many blocks are needed to repair the set. A file named somefileattachment.vol31 plus 32.par2 has 32 blocks, where the file named somefileattachment.vol10 plus 12.par2 has 12 blocks. The plus 32 or plus 12 is showing the number of blocks that are available in that particular PAR2 file. Multipar may say you need 100 blocks to repair, and instead of downloading all of the PAR2 files, we just get what we need and save the time. Once Multipar has all the necessary files, it can repair the set and we extract the set like normal. Virus scanning. Virus scanning is debatable. The best advice I can give you is don't be stupid. That brand new game that just came out is not going to be uploaded to Usenet as an executable X file. In fact, I would never download an X from Usenet. It's just not the way the scene works. If you're using Easy News, they do the work for us and will display a virus icon. If it is auto-unread and the thumbnail is available, I say go for it. You can't hide a virus in a video or a picture. Now with that said, there are virus and malware everywhere, including Usenet. People will try every trick in the book. Keep an eye on the file extensions. If it says mkv.x, that's still an X. Don't do it. Spammers will name their files very popular things like the newest movie title or the best software package. Look at the file sizes. We know that a video is going to be a huge file and measure in gigabytes usually, or at least a couple hundred megabytes. Big blockbuster summer action movie is not going to be a 5 meg X file. We know it should be much larger. Once you get used to looking at the file names and sizes, you'll be able to see a virus from a mile away. You will get a virus. No kidding. Outside of audio and video, if you download programs, eventually you will get a virus. Some files, PC games for instance, will trigger your antivirus protection even when there is no real virus. Keygens and cracks almost always trigger antivirus software. I no longer download PC games, and I haven't in years. Console games are a different story. Console games, like Xbox 360, can be checked for completion and validity online with services from abx360.net. In the past, I have downloaded tons of PC games. Some have worked flawlessly and never had any issues. Some have infected my computer to the point of having to reformat. I have been bitten one too many times, and I will never download a PC game again. I'll show how, but I don't recommend it. The PC games I prefer to play are subscription-type games anyway, like World of Warcraft, WoW. That's not to say that there are not free, private servers so that you can play WoW. The files needed to do that are right there on Usenet. Google for private servers of your favorite online games. It's easier than you think. I once had a virus from a PC game that would open a 1 pixel by 1 pixel window outside of the desktop area, so I couldn't see it, open their website, and click their own ads. The only reason I found out is because I could hear Internet Explorer clicking at seemingly random times. I didn't use IE and it was always running. A little digging and I finally found out what was going on. I thought it was a genius scheme myself. There are Usenet index sites out there that share information about posts. People can comment that this post is a virus or that post is incomplete. The community is really the best way to judge if that game or software is worth downloading. If you just have to have that game or program, it may be worth the extra effort to find a reputable Usenet indexer with an active community. Lately it's getting harder to find a good Usenet indexer, and I recommend making your own as explained later in the guide. Recovering from virus. You got a virus, huh? I told you so. How do you recover? I'm assuming we are talking about Windows here, because we are on the topic of virus recovery. I hope you have your Windows DVD. Now there are a few little tricks that you can do to prevent loss and recover quickly should you have to reformat your machine. I have a USB drive that is for nothing more than recovering my computer in case of emergency. It has the Windows installer ready to go as well as a folder full of common programs that I install every time. I recommend having a dedicated drive or even just a partition that only has Windows installed. Any file that we really need to keep should be on a different drive. An external drive is fine. I save all my really important files like pictures and documents on the cloud. All of my media is on separate internal hard drives. Should the worst happen, it's no big deal to format and reinstall Windows. Cracks and keygens. I've told you about getting a virus and you still want to download that game? Okay, I've been there too, you just have to have it now. Use your head and try and find the first release that is available. Use your tools such as Easy News filtering for passworded or virus-filled files. Look at the info and use your judgment if it's legit. Look at the name of the poster, what group tagged the post. You will start to see the same groups and the same posters over and over. With that said, the spammers see the same groups and they copy them, so you can't just go on the name. Okay, you've been warned. We are going to download the game just like we download anything else. Most PC games are either going to be in an ISO format or a RAR set that contains folders. We can use the global search function of Easy News and search. We get a ton of information including a bunch of file types. I like to choose the PAR viewer so that I can see the entire set. You can click the P next to the file to see this view. At a glance, we can see that the set looks complete and there are a few extra PARs just in case. This one even has an AutoUnroad ISO file ready to download. The easy ways to get the file is to download the ISO. We could also download the entire set and extract it ourselves. Either way is fine. We have to have some way to mount the ISO. There are many programs out there to accomplish this. I have been using LB Clone Drive for years. It can emulate multiple drives and has menus built into the shell so that you can mount an ISO by right-clicking and selecting Mount. Mount the ISO and explore the contents of the file. We are looking to see if the crack and keygen are available or even necessary. Look for a folder that is named something like crack or group name. I have seen the crack and keygen in a folder named after the group name that released it or the name of the person who uploaded it. If there is no crack folder, check online for a crack or keygen. Use your brain. Some of these sites that host cracked files are not so reputable. Keep an eye out for ads or block them altogether with a browser plugin. GameCopyWorld.com is the only one I use anymore and it has been around since the 90s. Cracks and keygens almost always trigger antivirus. There are many reasons why, such as allowing one X to manipulate another. They are changing an executable file, leftover traces of popular programs that are used to make the modified X will trigger antivirus software. Some groups will take a legitimate crack and then modify it so that when you click the generate button, you launch their malicious code or virus. Sandbox these things if you can. Set up a virtual machine. There are many free ways to do this as you search for it. Basically, You will set up a virtual machine inside your computer that you can run any kind of program you want, and it will be contained. Run your keygens on the virtual machine and then return to your physical computer. Emulators and ROMs. If you don't know about emulators and ROMs, you've been living under a rock. Emulators are how the cool folks at work are playing Nintendo games on their computer. The best part is that emulators don't just run on computers. You can get emulators to run on all kinds of different devices. Xbox, Wii, PSP, Android and many more. In this guide, we will only cover the PC versions of many different emulators. Once you have the concept, you will be able to easily add emulators to other devices. We won't go over every emulator available, just some of the more popular versions for today. A little background information. I have mentioned the original Xbox before and how you could modify it to run unsigned code. This meant we could use emulators on the Xbox. This was a perfect setup because you had a comfortable controller and could easily be connected to a TV. The scene also came up with set of DVDs called the Big Ass Emulator Disc. This was honestly one of the coolest things I've ever played with. It was a collection of thousands of games from all the popular consoles, SNES, Sega Master System, Genesis, Neo Geo and even the handhelds like Game Boy and Game Boy Color. You could play for a lifetime and still have more options. Since the Xbox is no longer in my living room, I had to move on. Every emulator you can think of is available. Some of the popular ones are listed below. It really is as easy as Google searching for it. There is a list on Smellabee.com as well. GameCube, Dolphin. Nintendo 64, Project 64. Game Boy, Visual Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance, Visual Boy Advance. Super Nintendo, SNES. Nestopia. Nintendo DS, Desmume. Sony PlayStation, EPSX. Sony PlayStation 2, PCSX2. Sony PSP, PPSSPP. Sega Dreamcast, Chancast. Sega Genesis, Fusion. Sega Master System, Fusion. Sega Game Gear, Fusion. Arcade, Momui. Now that we have found our emulator, how do we get the games? Easy News or Usenet, of course. A quick search will show tons of games and many different file types. Some emulators will use zipped files, others will use ISO files. It really just depends on the system that is being emulated. I'll get you started with the basics and the rest will follow the same procedure. Let's start with everyone's favorite Super Mario Bros. There is a free emulator available called FSA. It is the standard for emulation today. The site is fsa.com. We can easily find the Super Mario Bros. ROM on Usenet. The file extension should be nor possibly zip. Either one is fine. FSA can open a ROM from any folder on your computer. I suggest creating a folder inside the FSA folder named ROMs and dump all of your ROMs to that folder. The last step is to configure your controller. They even have USB controllers available now. I use an Xbox 360 controller wired to my PC. It works out great. That's it, have fun with How about Super Nintendo, Sega or Neo Geo etc.? It's very similar and the procedure is the same for all emulators. We can use Google to find the emulator, search Usenet for a ROM or an entire set, configure the controls and have fun. You can find ROMs on websites outside of Usenet. I have done this in the past myself. The advantage of Usenet in this instance is getting full sets of ROMs. Literally every game in any language that it was produced in with the cover art. These sets are available for just about every system. Console games. Console games are in limbo as of 2014. The new systems such as the Xbox One and the PS4 have yet to be opened up, so to speak, at the time of writing. It is only a matter of time before these console games will be available as well. people have already been able to dump games in their entirety. There are Xbox One development kits in the wild as well. Older consoles like the Xbox 360, Wii, and PS3 are already wide open. How to get your console to play backups is a book on its own. I will show you the basics and then how to get the backups themselves. There is plenty of good information available on how to modify your console to play a backup. The Xbox 360 for instance. You need to have a custom firmware installed to your DVD drive in the Xbox. The short version is to take your Xbox apart, find out which drive you have. There are several different types. Connect the drive to your computer and install firmware to the drive that will allow it to play a burnt DVD. There are also optical disc emulators, ODE. An ODE is hardware that you install into the Xbox. In easy terms, you are skipping the DVD drive and the ODE is telling the Xbox that we are using the original DVD drive. With an ODE you copy your backups to an external hard drive and then use the ODE to mount the game without having to burn the DVD. The advantage of ODE is that when the Xbox updates the firmware you don't have to tear your box apart and flash the drive with every update. The ODE emulates that original drive firmware and all. Another advantage is not having to buy blank DVDs. The Xbox has had many different variations to its disc format. The latest is called XGD3. What it does is put more information on the disc than a regular dual-layer DVD should be able to handle. In order to even burn these discs you need a specific burner in your computer that has custom firmware. Most games for the 360 are going to be a 7.3 GB ISO file, XGD3 games are going to be a 8.14 GB ISO file. If you find a game that is bigger or smaller the game must be checked for integrity. An easy way to check is by using a program from abx.net. I check every single game before burning the disc. This guide doesn't get into every console but here is a list of consoles that are easily modified to play backups at the time of writing. A quick Google search would point you in the right direction. In February 2014 there were sightings of a Wii U exploit that has not been released. This would be the first of the new consoles to be modified. PS2, PS3, PSP, Xbox, Xbox 360, Wii, GameCube, Android. There are many sites that will give you Android apps for free. Personally, I don't mess with any of them. Most of the apps I use on Android are free anyway. The price point for other apps are in line with what I'm willing to spend. When you install an app from an unknown source your phone will tell you that you must change your security settings to let it run. I live on my phone so I don't download any apps from Usenet. I don't want to risk my phone contents to save 99 cents. With that said, there are tons of apps available to download. People will post sets of apps from month to month. I have seen sets that include every paid app from December for instance. We download these the same as any other files. We search then download and extract. Android files are in the APK extension. Say you downloaded a free game, you could download it to the computer and then move it to the device with USB or Wi-Fi. Once it's on the device you use a file explorer to locate it and install the APK. The easier way is to download the file directly with the Android device, locate the file with a file explorer and install by clicking it. You do not have to modify or have root access to install an APK file. Rooting an Android allows you to install entire operating systems to your device. You don't have to have root privileges to install an APK. Rooting is a ton of fun and I would recommend looking into it, but it is beyond the scope of this guide. There are sets of apps, games, wallpapers, ringtones and much more available on Usenet. My favorite part is the ability to download or even stream video directly to your device. On my device I'll pull up Easy News Global Search, I'll find a video that I want to watch right this minute, I'll click on it and Android asks me how I want to open the video. I have a video player installed, MX Player, and I choose it from the list. It streams the video to my device without downloading or extracting. iOS. The iPhone and iPad are very popular devices because of how easy they are to get started with. One thing that makes it so easy is that it's locked in a way that you can't really mess it up. Unlike Android, you cannot just download a file. I can find an MP3 for instance and it will stream and play, but without iTunes I cannot save it for later. Same goes for videos. I can stream an MP4 and watch it right now but I can't save it for later viewing directly from the device. Easy News makes it easy to stream a video to the device. When I know I'm going to want to use my iPad for entertainment, there are a few easy steps to making it happen. I first download the video I want, then convert it to a format the iPad can play, such as MP4. Then transfer that converted video through iTunes to the device. There are many free converters out there. I use Media Coder to convert any format to MP4. There are other encoders out there but this one is fine if you can put up with the ads. Because of the extra steps involved with iOS I usually don't even mess with it. It really has turned me off Apple products in general. This may change in the future but today I would buy an Android or Windows tablet before even considering another iDevice. Advanced searching, indexing and automation. Now that you have the basics, let's look at a few things that can make searching a little easier. Once you're comfortable with file extensions, extracting and repairing files, there are a few tricks to save you some time. In this section I'm going to assume that you are using Easy News for your Usenet provider. If you're not, cancel your current service and get Easy News. No kidding, it's that good. This is the global search screen. We see many different options here but most of them are straightforward. Let's go through it line by line. Keyword. This is the main keyword you are looking for. Type in anything you want and it will return any available results. Subject. I literally never use this field. I guess you could if you want but we don't need it. It's a search based on the subject of the file. Poster. This is the name of the person that posted it. They put whatever they want as the name. Occasionally you may find yourself needing to filter by the poster but it's rare. Newsgroups. You can type in the name of a specific group. There is also a list view to choose one or more groups on the same page. This field is another that I don't usually use. File name. You can search the file name. You can also do this in the main keyword field. I have never used this field and see no reason to. Fileext. You can filter results by file extension. I use this every time. I know I want an MKV so I type in MKV. If I know I want an MKV or an MP4 I would type MKV MP4. This would filter my results to show only MKV or MP4 files. Great option. VCodec. Filter by video codec. Using XBMC or VLC we can play all popular codecs so I never use this field. ACodec. Filter by audio codec. Another example of a tool that is rarely needed. When I search for a video and I want to make sure I get search results that don't include foreign languages I can use the exclamation point. We can use it to filter out keywords. I could type in, big blockbuster action movie. German. This would filter out any results that include the word German. You can even go a step further, big blockbuster movie. German French subs. This would filter out any videos that have those keywords, German, French and subs. This would give us video results in the right language without subtitles. It really comes in handy. We can also use the pipe symbol to search for both this and that. In the file extension box we could type, MobiEPUB. This would give us results that include both Mobi and EPUB. When searching for music you may try MP3 FLAC to get more accurate results. NewsNab and Usenet indexing. Do you want to get really serious about downloading? There is another side to Usenet. Lots of folks use Usenet to download files called newsbins. They are NZB file types. A NZB is similar to a torrent. It has all the information it needs to tell a client, a newsreader, where to download the individual pieces of a RAR set. The reason it's not mentioned often in this book is because Easy News makes this process redundant with the auto-unrar feature. When you download a NZB, you have to have a program that will download it. There are many different newsreaders out there. Lately I have been using one called BinReader. There are Usenet index sites that host these NZB files. As long as you have a Usenet subscription with any provider, you can use a NZB and newsreader combo to download files. The trouble with Usenet indexes is that most cost additional money, some are private and you have to know someone in the group for an invite, and the big ones have a habit of closing quickly. How do we get around the problem of finding a reputable Usenet indexer? We make our own for free, of course. There is way too much information to fit in this guide, so I'll give you the highlights and you can Google it from there. You'll need server software like WAMP. Download the free version of NewsNab on ZEP. I have set this up many times on both a local server and even shared hosting. It's not like installing WordPress or Joomla. You have to have some experience and not be afraid to change settings and files. Once you have it configured, you run scripts that go out to Usenet and grab all the information it can from a selected group. It processes the information, goes out to different TV, movie, game, book, and music databases and matches up the files with the cover art and descriptions. It takes some time to back for 2,000 plus days of Usenet, but in the end you have your own website that is indexing Usenet for you. NewsNab then creates NZB files and lists them as a release on your site. Many of the popular Usenet indexers that charge a monthly or yearly fee are using exactly this setup. They install and configure NewsNab, run scripts 24 hours a day that will scrape information and finally, display it in a user-friendly way. NewsNab is very cool if you have the time to play with it. As I have suggested before, Easy News makes this process more of a hobby than a necessary tool of downloading. XBMC. Go and get XBMC now. XBMC is the glue that holds my media center together. It can play anything. It can stream from anywhere. You need to have XBMC. There are many different plugins available for XBMC, including an Easy News plugin. I recommend getting plugins and add-ons from SuperRepo. SuperRepo has tons of different plugins available for everything from weather to videos. Yats. This is exactly what I use at home. I have XBMC running on my PC connected to the TV. I have my Android cell phone and tablet with the Yats app installed. Yats has a free version that will allow you to use it as a remote. Buy the paid version if you want to play videos from your media center on your device. After a small configuration, Yats can now control my entire media center. I can use it as a remote and a keyboard. It really is the best solution I have found for media. An example of the awesomeness that is Yats would be YouTube. On my phone or my tablet I can pull up a YouTube video from the couch, tap share, and then send to XBMC. Immediately the video begins to play on the TV. I can do the same thing with Easy News. I find the video that I want to watch, select to share it, and send it to XBMC. I don't need any NZB files, I don't need to configure SICK-BNSAB. I will sit on the couch, find trailers on YouTube, share them to the TV, decided if I want to watch the video, jump on Easy News and send it to XBMC. I never left the couch, I never had to wait for the download to complete. I send it and it plays. It's as simple as that. The other side of Yats is that it can stream videos to your Android from the media center. It has a very nice interface showing all of my media. When I select a video, I can choose where I want to play it. I can play it to any of the XBMC installations in the house. I can play it with Chromecast. I can play it on the cell phone or tablet. In the middle of a movie, I can get up and go to the kitchen. I tell Yast to resume on my device. The movie keeps playing in the living room for guests but also plays on my phone. I can get the snacks and never miss the movie. Yats has plugins for phone calls and text alerts as well. You can set it up so that when a phone call comes in, the movie automatically pauses for you to take the call. Your text can be displayed on the TV as they come in. Yats really has brought everything together for the ultimate media center. Conclusion. Grab your rum and set sail. You now have all the information you need to be a modern-day pirate. Be careful what you do with this information. People will find out that you have the goods and you may become the most popular person at work or school. People will look to you for the latest and greatest media. People will look to you for opinions on this movie or that software. You have all the tools you need to find any type of file that's available online. You are now one of an elite crowd that even knows this side of the internet exists. I know it's a bunch of info all at once. I tell people that are just getting into Usenet is to just dive in headfirst and play with it. There is always a way to recover should the worst happen. There are many support forums out there that can get you from point A to B. Use the tools outlined in the guide and on smellabee.com if you get stuck. Once you find a few files, you'll see that it's a piece of cake. Stick with it, make mistakes and try again. Everything you could ever imagine and then some is available right now without leaving the couch. Quick Start Guide. So you already know about the scene and you just want to get to the point, right? Here's my setup with links and descriptions to all the services and programs I use. I have an off-the-shelf HP desktop. Mid-range, nothing fancy. I added a 1.5 terabytes hard drive to store my collection and that was the only upgrade. It's connected to an HD TV on the wall. My sound system is connected to the computer. I have a wireless keyboard and mouse that stays on a shelf under the TV. It stays there because I usually use my media center remote that came with the USB ear receiver. This is my living room setup and I wanted to be able to do anything and everything from the couch. I also subscribe to the fastest internet I can get in my area, about 6 megs a second in the real world. Not the fastest I've seen, but it gets the job done. I have an N600 wireless router too. The last pieces of the puzzle are my Android phone, an Android tablet, and an iPad. Software. This is an ever-changing list of software and websites that I use. Easy News, this is it. This is the entire secret. Close the book and dive in. This is the most important part of this guide. Easy News. Sign up. Don't complain about the 10 or 15 bucks. Sign up. It's the single best Usenet site out there. It's not the cheapest, I know, but I've used them all and this is the easiest one to use. I have never had one issue ever with Easy News. I have been a member for more than a decade. It has changed my life. You don't need any other junk. You need a browser like Internet Explorer, Firefox, or my favorite Chrome. You also need a way to play videos or music. I like VLC. It will play everything. That's it. Chrome, VLC, Easy News subscription. That's all you really need. Chrome is my current browser of choice. A few things I like about it are the ability to sync bookmarks and passwords across multiple devices as well as open tabs from other devices. You should be using Chrome. Free Download Manager. I use FDM to download larger files. The advantage here is that it can pause a download and restart even after the computer has been shut down. It also downloads large files in sections, giving us a much faster download overall. Bin Reader. There are many news readers but this one is my favorite. This program can take an NZB file, download the correct contents, extract and repair automatically. I use BinReader to take advantage of unlimited NNTP downloads from Easy News. WinRAR, old but still good. WinRAR will extract files from a RAR set. There is not much to explain about it because it just works. I have tried other programs but always end up back with the tried and true original, WinRAR. 7-Zip. 7-Zip can also extract files. It extracts files from many different types of compression. I like the price of it, free. I have it installed but I mainly use WinRAR. QuickPer. QuickPer can repair a RAR set that is corrupt or missing pieces. I have recently moved away from QuickPer and I'm now using MultiPar. MultiPar. I just started using MultiPar in 2013. For really large files there is a noticeable difference in speed over QuickPer. I don't have to use it often but parity files are an essential part of downloading. VLC. VLC just works. It plays any video file you can throw at it. I don't use it as my main media player but in a pinch it always works. Always. Shark 007. Code packs will allow Windows Media Player to play many different file types. I don't use any code packs myself. I prefer to either install them manually or use something like VLC or XBMC. The last code pack I ever installed was Shark 007 a few years back. It's not currently on my machine. XBMC, this is the best program I have ever used. I use it exclusively on my home media center. There is nothing else that even comes close. It has played every file I have ever tried to play. There are more plugins than I can count. You can stream media from hundreds of different sources. It is the first thing I install on a new computer. SuperRepo. With XBMC you can add different plugins to stream media from multiple sources. SuperRepo is a giant repository for plugins. If you can't find it in here, it probably doesn't exist. Media Coder. MP3 Tag. I use MP3 Tag to edit the metadata of all of my music files. It can automatically go out to Amazon for instance and grab all of the album art and information about a selected music file. It can embed the album art so that you can see it on just about any device. It's also my favorite price, free. ABX. You can use ABX to repair an Xbox 360 ISO so that it is Xbox Live safe. The program will add the proper signatures and checks so that the Xbox believes it's the real deal. Run every single Xbox ISO through the program, no excuses. IMGBN. IMGBN will create and burn ISO files to a disk or save it locally. I have had really good luck burning everything from videos to Xbox ISO files. This is the standard for Xbox backups. Dixati. If you must use a torrent, use Dixati. No ads, super quick, it just works. If you have read any of my other articles you know I don't use torrents but if you must this is way better than uTorrent. That's it for software. Now that you have signed up for Easy News, let's go to the global search section. I like the classic version better and you can find it at https://members.easynews.com/global. The first text box we see is for a keyword. Just type in whatever you're looking for. If we want to narrow our results to show only videos we can check the videos box. We can do the same for audio, pictures, documents or anything we want. We have found the video that we want and now we have to choose if we want to keep the file for later or just stream it this one time. To keep it, we download the file using FTM and save it where you want. To stream it we copy the link URL and paste it into VLC. Quick tip, if VLC or any media player doesn't ask you for your login the video will not play. You can add your user and password to the URL in the standard fashion. A URL that is copied as https://members.easynews.com/dl/auto/the.file.name.mkv. could be changed to https://username password at members.easy-news.com/dl/auto/the.file.name.mkv. This will allow streaming players like VLC to play the video. Just change the username password to your information. Q&A. Videos. Just get to the point. How do I download Zeiss video? Go to https://members.easy-news.com/global. Type in Zeiss in the keyword field. Check the box for video. Click search. Look for an acceptable file extension. Look for an acceptable file size. Download with the browser or download manager. Play with your favorite media player, XBMC or VLC8. Enjoy with popcorn. I searched for Zeiss video files but still see too many results. How do I tell which one I want? Look at the file extension. Look at the file size. Filter your results by using an exclamation point. Filter your results by choosing a minimum resolution. Filter your results by file extension. I found Zeiss but it's a RAR set. How do I get the actual video? Filter your results to PAR2 files only. Click the P to open the parity viewer. Check the set for completion. Download the entire set. Download any necessary parity files. Repair with multi-par if necessary. Extract with WinRAR. I downloaded the RAR set but it says I need the next volume. What do I do? Search for the exact file name including the part number. Download the missing part if available. Place the file in the same folder with the rest of the set. Extract with WinRAR. I'm missing one or more parts that are not available to download. How do I fix it? Search for the exact file name. Filter your results by clicking the parity box. Download one parity file of any size. Place the parity files in the same folder with the RAR set. Open with multi-par to determine how many blocks are needed. Download the needed parity files to repair the set. Allow multi-par to repair the set. Extract with WinRAR. Music. How do I find ABC's new album? Go to https://members.easy-news.com/global. Filter your results by checking the audio checkbox. Find an acceptable file extension. Check the boxes next to all the files in the album. Send the selected files to the zip manager. Download the zip with the browser or download manager. Extract with WinRAR. Play with your favorite music player. I've found the music that I want, but what file extension should I use? Determine where you want the music to be stored, cloud, PC, phone, etc. If storage space is no issue, go for a lossless FLAC file. If storage space is limited, go for an MP3, M4A or WMV. I've downloaded an audio file but it has no album art. How do I add it? Album art can be embedded to the audio file. Embedded album art shows across multiple devices. Albums can have more than one cover saved to the audio file. Not all devices will show multiple covers. MP3 tag is free and my current choice for embedding album art. Media players can find album art automatically. XBMC, WMP, iTunes, etc. Some media players save one file for album art in the folder instead of embedding. For consistency, be sure to embed album art if you are using multiple players. Books. How do I find a book? The Pirate's Guide to the Internet, for instance. Determine where you want to read the book: Kindle, computer, Android, iOS 8. Determine which file extension you want. EPUB for most. Mobi for Kindle. Go to https://members.easy-news.com/global. Filter your results by using the FileExt box. Adding Mobi, without the dot, to the FileExt box will only show Mobi files. Manually move the file to the correct folder on the device or use Calibre. Calibre is free and can convert a PUB to MOBI and vice versa. Calibre can identify your reading device when you plug it in with USB. Calibre will send the file to the correct folder on your device. I can't find this really old or really obscure file. Where should I look? Okay, fine, go find a torrent. There are many torrent sites out there. You could also try a Usenet indexer. There are fewer and fewer of these available today. The best option is to make sure your Usenet provider has the maximum retention you can find. At the time of writing, you can find Usenet providers that go back 2000 plus days. If the file you are looking for has ever been on Usenet in the last 2000 plus days, it's still there. Have a question? Come to Smellabee.com and start a conversation. I will continue to update Smellabee.com with more information on Usenet and how easy it can be to get started.